coming along as a fighter to a point where now I'm one of the most recognized people in the Muay Thai community in this area.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hurt Business Podcast. My name is Ferris Wright, and today I'm joined by a fascinating character in the sport of combat sports. He is a coach, owner, a newly retired fighter. He is Shaun Shubert. How we doing today?
What's going on, Ferris? How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I think a good place to start is why Red Seal, as that is your fight nickname and now your gym name. Why that?
Okay, that's damn. You're on it. You're on your homework. So when I was 18, I moved to Canada after I graduated and was living with this group of people. They were kind of just like chuckleheads, we were all young, figuring stuff out, messing around, doing our thing. And they have trades in Canada just like in America, but instead of saying that you got your master's or that you're a journeyman or whatever the levels are, their highest degree of mastery is called a red seal. So that always was like kind of cool to me. And when I came home, I was doing my culinary thing. That was where I started. That's what I graduated in and had a trade in. So I was doing that as a career. That was my job fresh out of school. And karate and martial arts and MMA, all that kind of stuff was just a hobby of mine. And Red Seal was just always this kind of like in the back of my head, like, oh, that's a cool thing, like to call it, instead of calling it, a journeyman or a master or whatever, right? So instead of being a master plumber, you say, that you got your Red Seal in plumbing. I thought that was kind of dope. So that's where it came from. And then as I opened the gym and started thinking about it and putting my logo together, putting my name out there, doing that kind of stuff, I turned Red Seal into an acronym that there's actually a poster hanging up in my gym. It stands for Redesigned Educational Development of Systems, Eclectic Martial Arts, Amok Methodology, and Lineage. So that's what Red Seal comes from, and that's what it stands for. And that's where I kind of melded it into this whole meaning of my gym.
Mm. What do those words mean to you? Now you made the poster, it's hanging up on your wall. What are the level of importance that has to you?
Yeah, right on, man. The redesigned educational development portion was from me starting in classical karate, this kind of traditional martial arts background, which everybody was doing in the 90s before UFC came out. All this MMA stuff was unheard of. Grappling was a brand new thing. Nobody was doing it. So everybody was doing all these different styles of karate, kickboxing, boxing, but it was it was all new, the MMA stuff. So after I got out of my karate mindset and started competing more in martial arts, combat sports, and doing more MMA bouts and doing more amateur boxing, smokers, that kind of thing. It's like, man, this needs to be karate, but reinvented. It needs to be redeveloped. They need to have the moral compass and they need to have the ideas, the values that martial arts stands on, but it needs to be more practical. It needs to be redesigned, re-educated. I need to figure out how to get these people that want to train in martial arts a more practical way of doing it. And before my gym was a pure striking gym, I was doing different types of things to try to find my way from transitioning into combat sports from a karate background. I had no coach, I had no teacher. I was still trying to find my way and stumbled through a lot of stuff. I was fighting as an independent MMA guy, trying to figure it out, trying to go to this gym and that gym and meet up with different guys that were competing in the sport. But like I said, it was early when I started doing it. And even early when I started taking MMA fights locally, Muay Thai was still like unheard of in this area.
Mm. Why do you think that is? Why is Muay Thai not as popular as it should be?
It's, I don't know, man. It's wild. I mean, obviously, it's gaining a lot of traction. One FC
Mm,
getting onto Prime and coming into America, and a lot more of the social media buzz, a lot more of these guys that are almost like superstars in America. They're 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 regular dudes. When you go over to Thailand, they're chilling. They're so down to earth and so nice, and they're just
mm,
there at the gym grinding. And it's like not that it's not nothing to them, but like they're just there living Muay Thai. And I don't know if that's why it didn't get the right push or that it got overlooked, is because these guys are just so nonchalant about fighting. They fight as much as they can, as long as they can, for them to make money for their families, for their villages, to get a name for themselves so that they can get jobs down the line. It's so ingrained in the culture that a lot less of those, I should say, there's a lot more people doing it, and there's like a lot less of this like kind of struggle to get to the top where they're just all doing it and all loving the sport. And
mm.
I feel like in America, it's a different aspect. Everybody's like trying to get fame. Everybody's trying to get to the top. Everybody's trying to get recognized and noticed. And the UFC's pretty much the best way to do that. So I think that a lot of guys take that route so that they can make some money, get recognized, get noticed, like, and it's just driving that popularity. I think that I think that things like one are definitely good, but it's still flying under the radar. But it's definitely picking up speed.
For sure, for sure. I think some of their shows that they've been putting on as of recently have been unbelievable. I mean, they were in Denver
Really?
like earlier this year, and that show looked incredible.
Yeah, they just started doing a thing. Well, I'm not sure if they just started. I should say that. I should say that it's it's definitely been a more recent occurrence where they've developed something called One Lumpini, and they're running it every Friday night. So it's getting a lot more recognition again, like that UFC, where you can get UFC almost like prelim style fights that are happening on Fox Sports or whatever this case is. They're playing these things every weekend, and they're just slapping UFC on the mat, and there's people are like, "Yeah, man, let's go UFC, UFC, UFC."
Yeah.
And I think that one kind of caught on. They're definitely smart. I know a couple of those guys that are at that level that are doing the business, the promoting side of things, and they're really, really dug into Muay Thai. They're really into the business aspect. So they're going to make smart moves in promoting. They're going to make smart moves in getting it recognized. They're going to make smart moves in making more money and promoting it well. I feel like that's definitely going to happen.
Mm. Another thing I noticed is there's no like for boxing, there's box rec for you to look back on and see all these historic fights and do your research and look up all those facts. There's Dog and there's other ones for MMA. There's nothing for Muay Thai. There's no way of finding out how many fights Shaun Shubert has, for example. There's no site that really tells you that.
Yeah, again, I'd say a little bit of it is the popularity thing, right? Like some guys are are making more waves when they make a site like SureDog where it's all MMA guys, because MMA
Yeah.
guys are the majority, right? It's even when I talk to somebody like Mike Pulveri, he's like, dude, I love the Muay Thai. It's a cool thing. I only have so many connections to Muay Thai schools. Like to get more Muay Thai fights on. Hopefully we can bring more recognition, more Muay Thai schools will start stepping up. The other side to that is, again, like I said, overseas, especially in Thailand, these cats are fighting so much. They're
Mm,
fighting from such a young age. by the time they're 18, they've got hundreds of fights. It's unbelievable how often they fight and how ingrained it is in their culture that they're doing it literally professionally and winning money for their villages at adolescence, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Like these kids are young and they've been training for 5, 6, whatever years. Now they're 10 years old. Their whole village is putting on a Muay Thai event. There's all kinds of legal things that you can do to be able to gamble because Muay Thai is looked at differently than sports betting because it's again so ingrained in the culture. They have uh almost like a national boxing committee, sort of like how we have a state athletic commission. It's like a national thing. It's a big deal over there. So it's hard to track guys that are fighting in the village where there's no electricity and nobody knows they're fighting. Nobody has internet. Nobody's got phones. They barely have food. They're just like trying to make it. They're betting using the whole village to create one pot. So that kid's literally fighting for the well-being of all his people.
Now you've traveled all over the world. You're talking about Thailand and that whole culture over there. Where's been the coolest place to travel?
I'd say that going to Thailand to train in Muay Thai is the ultimate goal, right?
Mm.
Anybody that trains Muay Thai and especially these guys that are traditionalist or purists, that's their mentality. They're like, the main goal is go to the motherland, train in Muay Thai, possibly fight if you can over there. That's that was actually probably the coolest thing for me was being accepted by the ties and being accepted by the gym and being accepted by the promoters and by the people that run the local stadium and all the fans that go to support the shows. It's unbelievable when you fight in Thailand. Fighters and Muay Thai is so revered because that's ultimately how they fought for freedom was with Muay Thai. Like their kings, like conquered lands and freed peoples and all this kind of stuff. So when you walk down the street with bruises and scars and stitches on your face and bandages, these guys are like, "Oh, you're from boxing?" Like yeah, they're high fiving you and hugging you and patting you on the back. They don't even care if you win or lost. Like they just care that you're fighting and that you're doing Muay Thai and that you're living the culture. It's such a part of those people, and they love it so much. You know, men, women, old people, young people. It doesn't matter. Everybody loves Muay Thai over there, and to go there, to train there, to to basically live there for 2 months and get like soaked into the culture and live at the gym and just be there all the time and train twice a day and go jogging with these cats, eat with them, whatever it is. Just like it's so communal and it's so different than how it's run over here,
Mm.
where it's like everything's a business, everything's, trying to make a buck. And yeah, there's camaraderie and yeah, there's whatever, but like essentially, like, you know, there's like 30, 40 dudes that are all, I mean, ladies too. They're all just like living at the gym.
That whole culture just seems like something undescribable. Sounds like something you must just be there to experience. Otherwise, be squared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aside from the Muay Thai, did you have a favorite thing about Thailand?
I am a foodie. So,
Ooh,
like I said to you
ooh.
before, I had a culinary degree. It was my first kind of job that I was like, oh, I can catch a vibe with this. I can get passionate about this. I can get into cooking food and all that stuff. And there is so much culture in their food. There's so much different food than we have here, and they're doing stuff like right on the street,
Mhm,
chefing it up in these little carts or on the side of their scooters. there's all kinds of like down these avenues, little alleyways, little back huts of people just like chefing up stuff on a little grill, and you're like, oh man, like this is basically made out of like bark and tree branches, but the food's amazing.
Mhm.
So I say that I definitely love the. I'm a street food guy. I love to go out and get a good bite to eat, anyways. But the food there is second to none, and it's so fresh. Everything there is. It's so locally sourced. It's so clean. It's just so different than the food here.
I'm also a foodie, and I find the fact that you're a culinary, graduate so fucking awesome. What is,
Yeah.
what's like your go-to? What's the best thing that Sean can throw down in the kitchen?
Oh man, I used to run the grill
Ooh,
where the steaks are being cooked for sure. So one of my big claims to fames was cooking 65 filet mignons, all on temp, bung bung bung, all
mm,
different from medium rare to medium well to well done, and putting those things out fast, fast, fast. I mean, running a line is definitely something that you look for, but I'm a I'd say like a good signature dish for me would be like a solid piece of steak and maybe like a bourbon Dijon, maybe a little crumbled gorgonzola, some bacon in there.
mhm.
That's an on point kind of meal, and I think that's like kind of out there where you got to be like a culinary guy to think up stuff like that.
For sure, man. I honestly you've listed a few things there, and I can recognize maybe 2 of the 5 things. I I don't know what half of that stuff is, but I'm sure it's delicious.
It's
Uh,
delicious. We'll have to get up and do some grilling,
that
chop
sounds
it up, whatever. We'll have to do like an in studio thing, you know.
that'd be awesome, man. I'll come by the gym sometime. How important is see just, like, regular people come in and get working and just
That's it.
seeing
That's
what it
huge.
does for them and their confidence and how they carry themselves?
It's unreal. It's unreal to see. Especially, my favorite thing is being in a building where there's all these different fitness avenues. We have a big fitness gym downstairs, and guys weightlifting, pumping the iron, chest press, deadlift, squat rack, you know it. Then they're like, I need to do something else. I need more cardio. I need more whatever. And they come up here and they get like a different taste of what we're doing. And they're like, dude, that's like cardio like I never seen it before. That's like a different approach to weightlifting that's like I never seen it before. And then they get hooked into learning how to fight. And they're like, dude, I thought like lifted weights made me feel good. I thought being strong and having muscles made me confident, but actually knowing that I can like hold my own and knowing that I can breathe for 3 minutes at a time while I do a couple rounds. Regular fitness people that just come to the gym and get a workout in, and they start discovering that there's a different type of fitness. There's a different type of cardio kickboxing when it's more practical, and then they start falling in love with some of the stuff, and then those people can start to get worked into the fold and start doing some more sparring and drilling and getting that kind of aspect.
Now, one of my favorite things when doing research about this was seeing your motto for your gym. And you have a t-shirt that says it. I seen it across the Instagram a few times. There's only winning and learning. There's no losing. How
Yeah,
important is that set of words for you, for your brand, and for your gym?
that's everything to me because like I said, when I started out, I was just a karate guy, and MMA started to become a hobby where I was like, oh, I got my brown belt, I got my black belt, I got this thing and that thing, and I want to know, can I fight? Because a lot of classical martial arts is choreography and forms and katas and weapons and this thing and that thing. And I want to know, like, okay, but if I get locked in the cage, or if I step in the ring with this other dude that knows how to fight, like, how well do I really know how to fight? And I found out really fast that I was brave and that I would punch you in the face, but I had no wrestling, I had no grappling, I had very little striking, I had very little practical applications. I just had the will, but no skill. So I lost a lot of competitions, but every time I went out there, every time I went back to the drawing board, every time I went back into fight camp and got more training and got more whatever, I was a new person. I was a better person. I was coming along as a fighter to a point where now I'm one of the most recognized people in the Muay Thai community in this area. So that motto is everything that I stand on.
And for the people listening, where is the gym? Where can they find you?
We are on Route 44. Technically, it's in Lakeville, but we're at the Bridgewater Middleborough Rotary, shooting down towards Taunton. It's right in between East Taunton, Bridgewater, Lakeville, Middleborough, Plymouth. It's a big main highway. Route 495's got to exit like a half a mile from me. Route 24 is probably 2 miles from me. Super, super good location.
Mm. There you go. For the listeners who don't already know, that's where you can find him. If in case you want to train in some of these Muay Thai trainings that he listed and want to gain that confidence, being able to breathe for 3 minutes, that all sounds super cool. So find him there. I want to transition the conversation a little bit to where I found out about Shaun. I seen you compete a few times before this, but this is where you stood out most, was to me at least, was at Cage Titan 62, your most recent bout, where you became moment in history again, becoming one part of the first ever Muay Thai small glove bout in Massachusetts. And
Yeah.
like I said, you've done this in another state. So how important is a small glove to Muay Thai?
It's almost the most pure form of Muay Thai. Muay Thai really stems from Muay Baran, which is kind of their military style. It's almost their classical martial arts where sometimes people will participate in Muay Baran and they wear like a gi almost type of uniform and they have their bands on their arms and their heads and they're doing all the uh, forms and they have, you know, different applications that involve weapons and that type of stuff. And then as people needed to do less with Muay Baran for war and military, they started taking those applications and making a sport out of it. And that's what they got uh, when they developed Muay Thai.
You up, man. Whenever you were throwing those fists with those small gloves, it seemed like you were trying to knock his head into the stands. And ultimately you did finish the fight with the KO. How did that feel?
It was a really good feeling, you know. I do like a good scrap. If you've seen me fight before, I do like it to go a little bit longer. I like to dig deep and make that guy have to dig deep. I don't mind getting all sweated up and blooded up and really banging and putting on a show. So a little bit of me definitely was hoping that cat was going to be a little bit more durable, especially finding out that he was like breaking guys' legs a couple weeks before that and really like putting some guys to the test. A lot of people in the MMA community where I cross train are talking about like, yo, this guy's a real tough fight. Like he's a real big deal. This is a good fight. This is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be a banger and this, that, the third thing. And then, he seemed like he was having fun for about 90 seconds and then figured out that he was in a Muay Thai fight and things were going a little bit different.
Do you prefer the small gloves versus the big gloves?
Yeah, just again because it's more effective. You get to be a little bit more violent with it, and there's no guessing.
Mm,
Sometimes you hit guys with bigger gloves on, and you're not really sure how good of a shot it was. You're really not sure how much impact of your fist they're feeling through the glove. So I just feel like you're getting a lot more kind of feedback a lot faster with the little gloves. And you have to be really tight on your countering. Your protection's got to be buttoned up, or you're going to get stung and it's going to
mm,
feel different.
mm. That's right. That's right. There's way more risk with those small gloves.
But yeah, 100%.
Now, a big part of Cage Titan 62 was the retirement. It was you threw the gloves down in the middle of the cage. Was that the plan all along? Was that regardless of the outcome of the fight, were you gonna do that?
Yeah, it was the plan all along. I went to Thailand with a lot of hopes, aspirations, but I kind of just went as a fighter that had goals to train at Fairtex and prove myself to be able to fight and work my way up and see how far and how fast I could do that for the time that I was there. So going out there, I had no plans. I had a couple of contacts that I was trying to get in touch with once I landed in Bangkok and eventually got down to Pattaya, stayed at Fairtex, and worked my way into some of the main rings in the training facility and earned my way into being able to fight over there. I had no plan. I was just going on hopes and prayers. When I fought out there, I won, I got on the big stage and got a knockout first round, elbowed this guy to death. It was the best feeling, right? And then I'm back at the gym and these cats are all like, yeah, that's awesome. You're knocking guys out. That's great, blah, blah, blah. And then they set me up for another fight. I fought again 2 weeks later, and the promoters knew who I was this time, so they set me up with a good hard fight. And this kid was game as could be. He was 21. He was half Thai, half English, training boxing in Britain, coming over and doing Muay Thai in Thailand. And this kid was sharp. He ended up taking me 2 rounds, and he cut me to a doctor stoppage where I was kind of like, oh man, what a bummer. Like, got back to my hotel, 20 stitches in my face, and I'm like, oh man, what a drag. I was scheduled to fight here when I came home, called my coach. I'm like, hey, coach, like, I got stitches. I'm sorry. I know we got X amount of time, but, I just want to keep you in the loop. We'll figure it out when I get home. But possibly like this is gonna be it for me. I might just like call it in Thailand and say like, okay, I went 1-1 in Thailand, and that's like a good thing to retire on. I ended up coming home feeling good because, like I said, even as somebody that gets an L in Thailand, you're cut up. Doesn't matter when you're out there. These guys are like picking you up. You're showing back up at the gym and training with stitches in your face, and these dudes are like loving it. Like that's even 10 times better than winning. Just the love and acceptance these cats are like, you're gonna like bleed and do all this stuff for Muay Thai and still come back and still train and still try to get out there and fight some more. And it means so much to them that they just like welcome you with open arms. So then I was like, all gully again, come back home, my face healed up real nice. I'm like, coach, like all gas, like let's do it. And I'll fight this kid and then I'll retire after that. And the show ended up falling through. There was a whole big mess. The WCK thing that was supposed to happen in Lowell never happened. I'm still healthy. I'm fresh in fight camp. I'm feeling flashy, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? Mike Pulver, Cage Titans, they're doing their thing. We've been trying to get this small glove stuff going for years. And I call Mike and I'm like, dude, listen, this is what I'm trying to do. I started at Cage Titans 3 as an amateur. It was like my second or third fight as an MMA guy ever. I got an L over there. I've been back to Cage Titans doing MMA, another L. I opened up as the first guy to do Muay Thai at a main event for Cage Titans, win, knock the cat out, go to Memorial Hall, do another combat night mixed show, karate fucking jumping, spinning, fucking karate, like cartwheel kicks, pulling everything out of my bag. Then COVID hits.
Mm.
Then a whole bunch of stuff happens. I turn pro, yada, yada, yada. I have a good run. And then I'm like, Mike, I got to close out my career. I got to do something cool. I got to do something worth my time, something to to go out on because I just love this so much in my heart. I never want to stop fighting. In my brain, I know it's time. I know where I've been. I know what I've done. I know that my business needs me to start being the boss and being the business guy and stop being the fighter. I have fighters here that are winning as amateurs that are coming out and doing stuff. I got young kids that are fighting, teenagers, young adults. I got kids that are looking to go pro in 2024. That's a fucking bombshell that just dropped on your show. I'm taking the necessary steps to move into the next seat to progress so that other people can step up and fill the spots.
I was ultimately most moved by your post-fight speech because of the things you just said. Just hearing you speak, you can feel the passion behind everything that you're saying. The love that you have for the sport is so real, and I'm thrilled that you have your gym and you have these younger athletes who are ready for your guidance, man. Is there anybody? I know you're not going to tell me one person. Is there anybody in your gym that you're most excited to kind of get behind and corner in the upcoming year?
Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to tell you one person. I do have a. I'm so excited about all these cats, and I'm excited to be able to fully give myself to them. I can even already feel just like I don't want to say a weight lifted off my shoulders, but I'll definitely say my mindset has just switched like completely after I put those gloves down and said what I needed to say. I just went home that night and came back to the gym the next week, and I'm just like, yo, I'm so ready to have all these cats start elevating because they're starting from like 10 steps ahead of where I was, where I ever thought I would be. They're starting from there. So I got kids that are 12 years old. They got a handful of fights. They came to Thailand with me. This kid Kevin and his dad, they just fought the same weekend together. Like they're
Mm,
in it, they're dug in. They are so involved in the gym that they've put themselves out there to become like liaisons in putting us in the run-ins to go to U.S. Muay Thai events, get the gym registered, get the fighters all figured out, squared away. They're like helping me out with all this kind of stuff that, again, it's just so exciting that I was not even thinking about these things because I was so worried about my professional career and doing well and gaining notoriety for the gym so that people would come here to be fighters and come here to train with a fighter and come here and say, look, this guy could teach me some stuff. And now I have guys that are here that are fighting that are doing stuff. So I got this young kid, Kevin. He's 12 years old. He's got a handful of fights. He's fighting at this youth event, NEYDL, in February. And then in April, we're going to Delaware to US Muay Thai. His teammate, Aaliyah, she's 16. She's in my apprentice class. She runs classes for me. She does private lessons. She teaches the kids. She's got a handful of fights. She won a amateur youth belt at a local like small kickboxing show recently. She's going to be fighting in February and again going to Delaware with us in April. And then I just got a whole bunch of these young killers that are like 18 to 25 that have been here for probably 6 months to a year. They're just getting to that point where their stuff's coming together and they're getting confident and they're telling me like, yo, I want to fight. Yo, after Christmas break, I want to fight. Yo, in January, I think I want to fight. Yo, I think that I want to get into fight camp. And obviously, the more people that are fighting around here and winning and doing well and cultivating that team vibe and that bond with everybody, just makes everybody else want to hit the gas more. Then my guy Mike White, all those belts on the wall behind,
Let's
that's
go.
all the boy. That kid came in here while he was just out of high school or still in high school, like just turned fucking 18, 19, never played sports, never did any kind of martial arts, never fought, never boxed, natural ability through the nose. And this kid hears it once, picks it up. It's unreal.
Mm,
He's undefeated right now. He's fought everywhere in New England. He's fought all amateur shows, won 4 belts, different promotions, defended 2 belts, and they're on the other wall. So he's solidified that he's definitely the champ in 2 different promotions,
mm.
and they're high level promotions. He was on Warriors Cup Road to One, won their belt and solidified it with a second win. Same thing on No Boundary. That's the local guys here in Massachusetts. They run the show at Melrose Memorial Hall. He did the same thing, won the belt last year. This year solidified it, and then he's the cat that next year we're looking to turn pro for 2024. Um, we're actually putting his application into Liam Harrison's Hitman
Ooh,
4-ounce gloves. So it's spreading. One FC's doing it. It's coming into America. It's leaking into the local promotions. Some of these big cats are doing it overseas. The 4-ounce gloves is the way to go, man. It's like I said, without doing it bare knuckles or like rope wraps on your hands. Uh, the 4-ounce gloves is the most pure form of Muay Thai.
I've I've been starting to see these clips of like bare knuckle Muay Thai, or you just said the road, what was it, road wraps?
Yeah, the ropes. They call it like card shoe or something like that. I'm not
Okay.
sure how to pronounce it, but yeah, it's basically like I said. It's this Muay Baran is how they used to just like kind of protect themselves from blades and stuff, right? They used to put this thick rope on their hands and all the way down their forearms so they could be like blocking daggers and knives and
Mm,
throwing elbows and all this
jeez.
stuff during war times where before firearms were doing it and they were like cutting each other down with daggers and swords and knives and all this kind of stuff. So um, that's where that kind of originated from. And again, because it evolved from Muay Baran into Muay Thai over the years, some of the things like boxing gloves got implemented later, and then also as like a classic bring it back tribute kind of thing, these cats are also bringing it back where they're doing um, fights with ropes on their hands instead of gloves.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And even the bare knuckle stuff where they just have the hand wraps on it, I can get behind that. That seems really cool.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. That's
Yeah.
wild stuff.
Yeah,
That's
man.
for
Yeah, it
sure
is.
wild stuff.
You listed a lot of fighters in your gym. I just want to say best of luck to all of them. I know you guys are going to
Yeah,
crush it in
thank you, thank you, thank
2024.
you.
Have they, as they now have your full attention and all the everything, now you don't have to worry about fight camp or getting yourself prepared for a bout. You can just give all your undivided attention to them, and big things to come for you guys. Uh Now you mentioned all this being thrown on your lap, taking over the business aspect of the gym. Now that you have more time, has it become a little easier, or is it still like, "Fuck, man, this is hard?"
No, it's fresh, so it's still too new for it to be like that for sure. But I've been running the business for about 12 years now. So when we were talking off camera before about how I acquired the gym was through one of my mentors that had owned a karate school, and we opened up a small little room together where I was teaching karate so I could make extra money and kind of get back on my feet. And down the line, he got into his own trouble, had his own demons, and kind of lost that struggle and took his own life. And it just left me in this place where I had all these thoughts about classical karate. I had all this new information coming in from doing MMA as a hobby and then having the necessity to go out and find new teachers, new mentors, new whatevers, because I was still new in MMA, had a deep desire to learn in martial arts, and I wanted to learn from people. I wasn't quite sure I was ready to be the teacher yet, and I had never really been in that role. I always had that guy kind of in the background to back me up. And this was like a violent shove into reality, into a new job, into a new role, into a new title. And then on top of that, I had all these people that were in the same boat as me now looking to me because they're like, well, you own the gym, bro. You own the spot now. Eventually, that turned into, like we had talked about, me bringing it from a classical karate to some kind of free form where I had sport fighting classes and I had fitness classes and I had practical protection, like personal protection classes going on. And then eventually I just started doing more metrics and listening to the demand and started phasing out kind of this self defense thing and making the strength conditioning more geared towards Muay Thai and striking and getting in shape for being a fighter, and changed the combat sports class into more of a striking class where I was doing boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai, and then eventually phased it all out to where I'm at now.
I said it at the top of the show. You're a fascinating character in the sport of combat, and this 45 minutes that you gave us today just proved that. I really appreciate the time. Let people know where to find you and where they can become a member of your gym.
Right on, man. You can find me on social media, on Instagram, Red Seal Muay Thai. I do have a business page on Facebook. It's Red Seal Martial Arts Company. You can search me on Google, Shaun Shubert. You can pull up my YouTube videos. I got tons of fights on there. Some of them are sick massacres. Some of them are bloody messes. I got wins, losses. It's all up there. I'm an open book. And like we said before, it's all about competing and learning instead of winning being my driver. I was always trying to get better and bring notoriety to my school, which you can find at 155 Millennium Circle. I'm on Route 44 in Lakeville, Massachusetts, right between Middleborough and Taunton. If you're in the area, Bridgewater, Rainham, East Taunton, I'm super close to all that. I'm a short ride down 495 in either direction, exit 6. And same thing on Route 24. If you just get off the Taunton exit, like a 2 miles down the road. So super in the middle of a lot of places, and we're always open to cross train, open enrollment, all that kind of stuff. We have beginner friendly programs. We start everybody at 90-day core skills before you move into Gen Pop, where you get like one-on-one small group training with a trainer, all that kind of stuff. So it's super cool for people that are just enthusiasts or people that want to eventually make it to amateur fighting or professional fighting. We got like a place for you to go.
Mm, great, man. Well, all the best to you. Check out the YouTube. One of my favorites is your patented spinning back fist. I feel like
Yes,
that's by far your signature move.
yes, sir.
Again, brother, thank you for the time, and we'll talk soon.
Yo, Ferris, I can't wait, bro. I appreciate. Thank you for having me on, and I'm excited to talk more.